Hey, it's Rene Roth coming to you live, Director at the Karuna Centre for Natural Therapies here in Melbourne in Caulfield North. Just want to share with you some challenges that I see coming across my consultation desk frequently in practice, and this can be from kids with learning challenges, kids with ADHD or behavioural issues as well, right through to the other end of the spectrum where I'm having children bringing their parents in, who are adult parents bringing their grandparents, and they've got Alzheimer's, they've got dementia, they've got foggy thinking, they have not clarity of mind. So we're always looking for effective, practical solutions to improve thinking, cognition, processing information. So I want to just touch on this word cognition and actually what it means. So it's a whole process of one, we're actually receiving and acquiring information, two, the ability to process it and analyze it and understand that information. Next is about learning, retention and memory. Then it's about recalling and retrieving that information and then having practical application. So you can see there are many processes that we do in that whole, I suppose, scope of that word, what cognition actually means. So we want to look at some ways in which we can improve our concentration, our memory, our focus, our performance. And this could be from and this is valid for everyone, and this could be from the student who's studying, who needs to maximize their performance because maybe they have their own goals to achieve on that front, but maybe there are kids out there who are really challenged, who need that extra support. So we want to look at a few holistic ways to help with that, but it may also just be the person who's studying for an exam, or the person going for an interview, the athletic competitor who needs to have competitive strategies and be aware of what's happening around them, to the person operating machinery who needs to be on task and up to the maximum capacity all the time to make sure their health and those around them and their health and safety is not at risk. But certainly the Alzheimer's and dementia issues are what I'm seeing often. So let's look at some holistic things that we can do to support that. So number one, it's about adequate hydration. Our body is, they say, 80% plus water, so we need to hydrate. So the more hydrated you are, the more mental clarity, and of course headaches. Number one cause of headaches is typically dehydration. So we need to engage in our food and a wholesome diet, a Mediterranean style diet with adequate fresh fruits and vegetables and our good oils, particularly the olive oil, and I'll touch on coconut oil in a moment. We need to have adequate exercise because that's going to support our endorphins, that's going to support our well-being and keep our body shape to the optimal shape there as well. And in terms of study, it's about creating that environment, setting up that space. So if it's for children who are easily distracted, get rid of the phones, get rid of the iPads, get rid of the computers and the tablets, put them in a space, maybe some very subliminal classical music in the background. This is valid for any adult as well. But it's also supporting your body from a supplement perspective too. So the whole complex of minerals, vitamins, essential fatty acids, cofactors, amino acids and so forth. So they're just a few holistic things, but I do want to get into some core ingredients and products, but particularly I shared with you a moment ago about cognitive decline, and we're seeing an epidemic in Alzheimer's disease and dementia. And Vivian and myself watched a little while ago a program that ran for 12 days straight on awakening from Alzheimer's. And I just want to share with you some of the key things that came from this. And this was presented by neurologists, psychoneurologists, doctors, specialists and so forth. And there's a lot of clinical evidence about the use of so many things. So collectively, a few things I'm going to pull out there. So diet, they're talking about Alzheimer's disease being the type 3 diabetes. So we understand that there's a lot of insulin resistance around Alzheimer's disease as well. It's actually a physiological and pathological condition where there are these amyloid plaques developing the brain. And that's driven by an inflammatory diet, it's driven by sugar, it's driven by being overweight and obese, so those things need to be managed and changed. So it's about having an alkaline diet, it's about having an alkaline style diet, it's about including a whole range of minerals, vitamins, essential fatty acids, of course the hydration there. But coconut oil came up significantly as a absolute therapeutic product. So that's the medium chain triglycerides in coconut oil, actually provides the brain with an alternate fuel source in the form of ketones. So this was significantly demonstrated where as one's aging and often weight is an issue because perhaps there's less activity, and sometimes older people tend to eat as much as they did in their 30s and 40s, so the weight gain is there. But if there is a reduction in activity, perhaps one needs to look at reducing some of the caloric intake, but making wiser choices around that. So when the brain has an inability to effectively metabolize sugar, which is a brain fuel, because sugar is fuel to our cells. But the problem is we're eating too much sugar and storing it as fat. So the ketones in the medium-chain triglycerides from coconut oil was a very effective alternate fuel for the brain to utilize. And so there are some amazing examples where we've seen reversal in there. Some of the other things, I mentioned the Mediterranean diet, the adequate hydration, the use of antioxidants. I'm going to talk about some antioxidants particularly in a moment, but some other ones were green tea and turmeric and resveratrol. This is really key. Minerals, a whole spectrum of minerals, but particularly zinc and magnesium. Selenium was designated to be really important. The whole spectrum of all your vitamins, but particularly vitamin D and sunlight. As people age, they tend to be perhaps less outdoors because of the mobility issues, so supplementing with vitamin D is really important. Probiotics and gut health, we know the gut is a second brain, so supporting the production of neurotransmitters to support, because 90% of them happen in the gut, but 90% of the transmitters are in the brain, or receptors are. So we need to actually maximize production in the gut to maximize the connection of these neurotransmitters to those receptors. Often there may be drug interactions in patients with dementia and Alzheimer's, underlying infections, comorbidities, thyroid issues, which will have the body slow down as well. So we need to make sure they are not coexisting. And adequate sleep, but not just adequate sleep, but good quality sleep. And the duration and the depth of the sleep, so deep sleep and REM sleep, is really important for cognition. So when students are studying, or you have that exam, or you have that interview, it's really important to have an adequate amount of sleep, because loss of REM sleep will actually affect the cognitive decline, whereas loss of deep sleep will impact more on your tiredness. So one is more energy and one is more intellectual. So let's have a look at a formulation which I've used a many number of times, which gives people more focus and capacity to perform. So number one ingredient is Brahmi, and I think many of you have heard of Brahmi or bacopa, which is the Latin name, and this has been utilized for centuries as a very powerful cognitive support product. So the ability to focus, concentrate, recall, all those things that I mentioned around cognition is absolutely valid. It's demonstrated to be beneficial in Alzheimer's and dementia, but also those kids with learning difficulties, ADHD and ADD, definitely there. It's an antioxidant, it's an adaptogen, meaning it helps the body deal with stresses more effectively. So Brahmi, ancient Indian herb, been used for centuries and well studied and well tried. Let's move to ginkgo biloba, the second ingredient. Again, an ancient Chinese, Asian herb, and this definitely supports cerebral circulation, so it's delivering all those minerals, antioxidants, essential fatty acids to the brain. That's number one. It's an antioxidant in its own right. It contains powerful flavonoids and terpenoids which support cognition, so it's both working at a neurological level and a circulatory level. Another ingredient is gotu kola, and again, this is an Asian herb. It's known to improve attention span, memory and performance. It supports circulation, it's an antioxidant, it's also anti-inflammatory. Next we have the lecithin. Lecithin is a naturally occurring compound, and it's important, it's a phospholipid, so lipids are really important for brain function as well, and it's a precursor to many other neurotransmitters too. And vitamin B5, we know it supports neurological energy. So we've got, in this preparation that I use, which certainly supports focus and concentration, and you guys can access it, there's no problem in accessing this sort of product. Connect with the person who perhaps shared this live broadcast with you. If you need more information, certainly welcome to contact myself. I'm a naturopath and homeopath, been in practice for 35 years, so there's a bit of background experience with me. So if you need more support or guidance, feel free to connect. My number is 0439 364 679. Love you to drop a 5 in the comments and a thinking emoji. Hopefully this broadcast has connected with you today. For those who are promoting this product, yes, we have a 15% discount on this product today. So make sure you connect with someone that you know where you can access this product. It's valid for today, Wednesday the 15th, I think we are today, right through to tomorrow morning. So, and that's over an $8 saving, which is very economical. So hopefully that's given you some insights around some practical lifestyle habits we can embrace to support our mind, focus and concentration, but also some therapeutic interventions which has been demonstrated to be clinically effective, and also from my experience in practice what I've identified to be helpful. Hope that's been of value for you. We'll catch you next time. Cheers now.